Hey guys, Louie here. It is Tuesday, March 10th. Driving home from work. I thought I'd just have a little chat about what's going on in the markets and my outlook on gold, silver, bonds, of course the Dow, and what direction these things might be going, and what I'm not doing. Okay, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm not doing, because there are many things that we can do proactively, like stack gold and silver. But then what we don't do actually winds up becoming probably more important than what we did do, right? So, for example, what I'm not doing right now is I'm not participating in the stock market at all. I decided to get out a long time ago. And so that's something I'm not doing that's having a profound effect on the preservation of my wealth. What I'm not doing right now is I'm not assuming that gold is going to go higher, and I'm not assuming that silver is going to go higher, and I'm also not assuming it's going to go lower, either of those two metals, because we are, we're in a really unusual time, and I think it would be really hard to predict the direction. You could make equally good reasons why metals should go down and equally good reasons why metals should go up. And you would both be right, just depending on the time frame we're talking about. And so I don't think that someone that is selling all their metals, they're not necessarily wrong. And somebody who's doubling down right now because the GSR is at 100, I don't think they're necessarily wrong. I think they just feel very strongly about their opinions. And it reminds me of a time. I've been around YouTube long enough to remember the last crash of silver specifically. I wasn't really stacking much gold back then, but when it cracked down below 14, and there was tremendous ridicule for stackers that believed it was a good time to buy. And, I would say a large part of the community gave up, and some even turned into silver bullies that just wanted to crucify anybody who was genuinely interested in accumulating these metals. And at the time, it looked like the end of the world, and it looked like those things would never go up again. But you know what? They sure did. And all those people that were down on silver back when it was 14 and gold was a little over 1,000, well, they were ultimately wrong. And it didn't take that many years for them to be wrong either. So I think the time frame is really important. And I think the way that people are feeling so emotional right now, so surprisingly strongly opinionated, both about the fate of the world and the fate of the financial system and the fate of precious metals, I think it shows that we're at some kind of inflection point. And again, I don't know up or down, but I will tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not selling my silver, and I'm not selling my gold. They are a long-term hold for me. The other thing I'm not doing is I'm not speculating right now. I'm not speculating in paper, silver, or gold, long or short. I'm not buying gold miners. All right, that's something that I really have never done, but it has been tempting. But the same way that silver felt like, when it was 1950, on that day, remember how you felt, and it seemed like it was going up to 25, and finally we were going to be recognized as understanding that the financial system has no foundation, and metals would be given their true valuation compared to fiat. Well, it turned right around, and now it's under 17 and could be going lower. So what I would caution you is if gold does that, because there is a tremendous liquidity need in the world, and I think there will be, that those gold miners are going to get obliterated. So that's something I'm not doing. The other thing I'm not doing is I'm not betting more than 10% of my total personal net worth, most of which is, at a brokerage house, in CDs and bonds. What I'm not doing is I'm not putting more than 10% into precious metals of any and all kinds, no matter how strong the case is, because I can afford to take a loss on 10% of my total portfolio. But over time, I don't think I'm taking any losses on bullion. And collector coins are a mixed bag, as you know, profits and losses. I'll tell you this, on my collector coins so far, I haven't had a year where I had a loss, but, I don't know what happens in the future. And what happens, when I have to liquidate some stuff that doesn't sell, to be honest. So, but anyway, I don't think there's big losses anywhere there, and I think there's, pretty decent gains in the precious metals I bought when people were losing their belief. So that's where I'm at with the markets. I also think that the markets will go up, all right, and they will go up for a period of time that will convince you, or convince the dip buyers, that it's going to keep going back up. And it'll do that until the very moment it has sucked every single last person in, and then it will turn back down. So I don't think it'll hit a new high. I think it will make some kind of retracement, and then I think it will head straight back down and bust its old low. So that's what I think is going to happen. Part of that is I think people are missing. I don't really understand why people only look, at this week's news, and they don't think into the future. But the damage that's been done to so many segments of the economy is severe. The airlines alone are going to lose $100 billion. Okay, how big a stimulus plan is Trump going to cook up? $3 trillion. I think that's what was lost in the stock market recently, or maybe it was $2 billion. He's not. He's not going to do something that outrageous. And that's only one industry. Oil and gas has been obliterated, and I don't completely understand all the reasons, but I guess it has to do with, diminished expectations for global output. But, I was reading today where all of the oil companies, some have issued, one step above junk grade bonds to sustain themselves, and a downgrade. There could be a serious downgrade of a lot of oil companies. Maybe they're second tier oil companies, I'm not sure. But these bonds, wow, they are really, people are going to have trouble making the payments. And we could see more bankruptcies and more disappointments. And that's only one other industry. I mean, the public sector pension plans. Oh my God, I just read a couple days ago that PERS recently, before the virus, decided it was the time to step up their allocation to stocks. Like so many people that thought we'd be going on to 40,000. And they did that, so California is going to go bankrupt and, join a bunch of other states that are going to do it. The only question is, how high will they raise taxes? How much will that kill the economy and the country's economy? Because, so goes California, New York, and a couple other places. So goes the country, in terms of our growth and our GDP. That's what I expect is the financial systems are going to get some tremendous stress. And I don't even know what's going on globally. We saw... Lebanon defaulted on its bonds. I mean, we're going to continue to have more defaults and more printing and more reasons to have some tangible assets. And I continue to believe in tangible assets for a segment of my wealth. So there you go. The other thing I'm not doing is I'm trying not to panic about the thing, the Black Swan. But in all the circles that I travel in, people are starting to panic. All right, behind the scenes, you'd be really surprised what businesses are saying and thinking, what colleges are saying and thinking. You know, what convention centers are saying and thinking. Boy, there's gonna be a lot of downturn in our financial system, and people are gonna, unfortunately, they're gonna get furloughed. And you know, I don't know what happens after that happens. I hope everyone has put aside a personal safety net. For me, my goal has been $1,000 a week is what I am withdrawing from the bank. And I had to clear out some of my broker account to make those funds available. Got it out of E-Trade, moved it into the bank, and I'm moving it into cash. And $1,000 a week, that's my goal. Okay. But, you know, I like investing my money because I've been making 4% on my money. As stupid as that sounds, you know, my self-traded IRA did pretty good, I think. Not too good, not too bad. Anyway, so yeah, I'm raising cash. I hope you are too. And think about what might happen if you or your spouse or both of you temporarily had a loss of income. You might just need some cash to protect your family and to put food on the table and to keep a roof over your head. Or you could be talking to other family members on other backup plans. I think a lot of younger people are going to wind up going back home to live with mom and dad. If mom and dad have, you know, any assets, I presume some do, right? And not that there aren't already a lot of 20-somethings living at home. And but I think that's going to happen again. You know, hearkening back to you know, a decade or two ago when the world fell apart then, right? I don't know why it couldn't fall apart now. The management of the world's economy has never been more arrogant, has never been more steroidal, right? I mean, just the heroin being pumped into the system just to get the stock market to go up. It would have been perfectly fine for us to have 1% growth, 2% growth for a while. If we had started balancing the budget, right? If we had let interest rates go up to like a reasonable level, you know, 5%. If we had kind of, you know, just topped the real estate market a little bit. I'm not saying crash it like Greenspan did, but you know, just take the top off it so it doesn't keep getting more expensive for people, and then people lose it when they lose their job, because just because debt is easier to get, and you know, rates have never been lower, you still owe the money. You're still going to owe the money, and if you can't pay it back, it's going to bankrupt you. So I think you should stay prudent in your real estate speculation. Okay, guys, well, that's what I'm thinking, and I did a little walking around the garage here as well, and I don't know, it's, you know, difficult times. I just hear a lot of angst in all the videos, and I hope people can chill a little bit and be proud of what you're doing. You know, we are dissenting. We are for us in America, we are exercising our right of independence, the independence to disobey the fiat-based system, which is working against us. All right, and you know, fiercely proud, we'll continue to do that. And you should, you know, you should have a stack. And how big should it be, and what should it be comprised of, and when you should buy it, and whether you should trade it, and whether it should be physical, you know, and hopefully not paper. That's up to you. But congratulations to everyone who has taken the stance that they are going to have a physical stack, and they're going to keep that physical stack because someday it's going to be useful. It's going to be important, just like your insurance policy, okay? Just like any insurance policy. It's not a time to give up. You may rebalance, you may do some buying and selling, but it's not a time to give up. All right, I've gone on too long, but I would appreciate your thoughts on whether you're buying, selling, holding pat, and whether you have a long-term perspective. Do you have a long-term perspective? Is it foolish to have a long-term perspective? I don't know. I don't think so. How about you? Are you long-term or short-term? Louie out. Talk to you later. Bye.